Hello, and thank you for tuning in. I am Paul Ogolla in Nairobi, and I welcome our viewers in Kenya and around the world to On Time News, a program that focuses on a global and exclusive look at issues affecting public worldview in economics, politics, health, and arts and culture. But first, let's have a glimpse of the top stories around the world. And to our first story, Education Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohamed announces 2018 KCSE results ahead of Christmas celebrations. The Supreme Court has upheld election of Governors Alfred Mutua of Machakos County and Salim Mvurya of Kwale County, dismissing election petitions against them. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, that is UNESCO, has listed a traditional dance practiced by the Isuha and Idaho communities in Western Kenya as an intangible cultural heritage in urgent need of safeguarding. UNESCO describes Isikuti dance as an integral tool for cultural transmission and harmonious coexistence between families and communities. Now to the localization. The first Isikuti dance, performed at many public and private celebrations, is among 3 traditions that the UN Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, declared in danger of fading into extinction. Isikuti dance is a traditional celebratory performance practiced among the Isuha and Idaho communities of Western Kenya. It takes a form of a fast-paced, energetic and passionate dance accompanied by drumming and singing, an integral tool for cultural transmission and harmonious coexistence between families and communities. It permeates most occasions and stages in life, including childbirths, initiations, weddings, funerals, commemorations, inaugurations, religious festivities, sporting events, and other public congregations. The dance derives its name from the drums used in the performance, played in sets of 3, a big one, medium, and small drum, and normally accompanied by an antelope horn and assorted metal rattles. A soloist leads the dance, singing thematically texts in tandem with the rhythmic of the drums and the steps of the dancers, arranged in separate rows for men and women. It is due to the transmission of Isikuti dance and the diminishing of its performance that UNESCO is raising a red flag. But what does this mean? This subject is important to us because first, it shows the recognition of Isikuti dance globally, hence recognizing the Kenyan cultural diversity. Our question today is, what is your take after UNESCO recognized Isikuti dance for the world? Join our conversation by tweeting us at Paul Ogolla 5 or Facebook us at Ogashpace, and we shall sample your views at the end of this show. Taking a look at Facebook, Colin Sorono on Facebook says, Isikuti dance deserves it because it reflects the true Africa. Let's now join our correspondent Patrick Malombe with a correspondent feature.
Data published on 27th November 2014 by Nation.com records that UNESCO listed Western Kenyan dance Isukuti as an endangered cultural heritage. Isukuti, one of the musical instruments cherished by African, mentioning the Lango people of Uganda, the oral tradition of Venezuela's Mapoyo group, and Isuha, Idaho of Western Kenya. This traditional sound instrument is very essential to the named communities for their heritage. It is engaged mostly when male child cleansing ceremony is conducted by the Mapoyo and Lango communities, while during weddings and circumcision ceremonies by the Luya communities. United Nations agency quoted the Isukuti dance and the use as an intangible cultural heritage in urgent need of safeguarding. This called the UNESCO to recognize Isukuti as a world-class instrument that somehow created tension in Western Kenya majorly. This is with the reasoning that it's us Kenyans who identify ourselves with Isukuti, our pride, heritage, that should be preserved and retained in our archives. However, Isukuti seems to be aging the music field due to production of more complex and fashionable instruments like piano, violin, guitar, among others. Secondly, transmission of Isukuti dance is presently weakening and the frequency of performance is diminishing because the bearers are elderly and lack succession to whom they can pass on their knowledge. Thirdly, lack of funds and necessary material to make the instrument and costumes also present an obstacle. Let us rise and support Isukuti dance, our culture, our pride. Patrick Malombe on Time News.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick Malombe, for that. We are being joined by our correspondent, Patrick Malombe, live from the ground. What do you think is the importance of Isukuti dance recognition by the world body UNESCO?
Well, thank you, Paul Ogolla. What's on the ground is that people are really appreciating the fact that Kenyan's heritage is already growing global. And it's something that people are feeling, well, it's something that we need to be proud of, and it's something that we need to appreciate.
Now, Francis on Facebook says, that was an amazing story. I think they should pay us a token. Amazing comments there from our viewers. We are now shifting gears to joining our opinion leaders. Joining us is Haden Lemp from North Carolina, a missionary and a holder of a degree in divinity. Haden, thank you for joining us. What is your take in regard to the move of UNESCO recognizing Isukuti dance as a world-class cultural practice?
I believe that they probably did the wrong thing. It sounds like the Isukuti is a very special instrument. It sounds like it has been used traditionally for certain things. And for example, the keyboard, I know that the keyboard was not necessarily originated in Africa, but it's been used here, but there is no significance to the keyboard, to American culture. And so there is a difference between an instrument such as a keyboard that can go internationally and it does not offend anybody. With the Isukuti, it has meaning to it, and there is something that is to be cherished, and I think that should be preserved. So I think they probably did the wrong thing, and I think Kenyans have the right to be upset about it. It's just the way in which they go about being upset might need to be in further discussion.
Thank you. Let me now bring in an integrated studies lecturer for more than 20 years and come from the community where Isukuti originates. What is your take on the Isukuti recognition, Mr. Masindani?
Well, Paul, I would think that that was actually a recognition by this UN body that is charged with the responsibility of preserving, conserving, and kind of thinking about posterity. So I would think that it is basically just an initiative that would go towards recognizing that the Luhya people of Western Kenya, the Isuha Idaho, like you rightly put it, have a treasure, a valuable cultural trait that needs to be acknowledged and credited to them, so that if it would then reach out to other members of the world community, then it would only be with the understanding that this is a borrowed cultural practice that is credited to the Isuha Idaho of Western Kenya. So I think it is an acknowledgement. Of course, then you in your initial comments you note that it is actually endangered.
Yes.
That means that they actually are seeing that perhaps in due time we may not have people that would carry on this tradition, this dance, which is something that the world needs to celebrate and acknowledge that it comes from the Luhya people of Western Kenya.
Will this move affect our musical industry and culture in general?
Yes, I would think, Paul, that we actually, that would be dealing with the dynamics of society. That I think today's generation, the young people, do not see much pride in their cultural heritage. But that is then why that we have the elderly people are the ones that actually are taking this Isikoti dance and cultural value to propagate it. But I think we would need to challenge our young generation to kind of embrace this and appreciate that is something that actually I think there are teams in Western Kenya that live and earn a living out of just Isukoti dance. And so it is something that can be done, can be exercised, can be appreciated. And so we need the younger generation to embrace this. The ministry may do something about it, but I guess it actually needs to get to the heart of the persons that are involved to see the need to appreciate this and to take it on.
And lastly, we are being joined by Mr. Francis Ogolla, music teacher since 1986. He is also a pastor, an author, and a teacher in Viraj International School. What is your take, Mr. Ogolla, in this subject?
At first, I would not take it kindly, because much as we refer to these things as folk, it is not a personal something that somebody somewhere can negotiate, but it is something that belongs to the community. It is our inheritance, so it belongs, it is our sense of identity in this land, that I would not be very comfortable to support the idea that it can be smuggled out of our possession.
That marks the end of our discussion. But first, let me sample your comments before I close. AC Adasa says, as a lawyer, I'm very happy because we are becoming famous. This comment has closed it all. That marks the end of our show today. Thank you very much to everyone that has contributed to our program. See you next week, same time, same place. I have been your host, Paul Ogolla.